Mike's Daily Podcast.
Hello, I am Mike Matthews. That is something I can say with absolute no doubt in my mind. I think.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to the show called Mike's Daily Podcast, and we are here on episode. Yes, I have problems saying the episode for the show, but I think we're on 2724. Yeah, that sounds like it. So, how are your ears? Are they sore?
Mike's Daily Podcast.
Are you enjoying the podcast so far? Good. I have not been
Mike's
spending
Daily
a lot of money yet
Podcast
on Christmas presents.
Yeah!
Mike, do you have kids? No. Mike, if you had kids, you'd be spending money on presents already. Oh. Okay. I hand it to you. I'm handing it to you, you parents out there. I am quite impressed with how you are able to find presents for your kids. I guess on some level it must be enjoyable to you. You must love seeing them smile. And maybe you love... I don't think you love buying stuff. Some people like to buy stuff. I don't. I hate it. It's like... I go to Costco because I know there are so many things that I need, and there are things that if I buy it at my local store, it's going to be way more expensive than if I buy it at Costco. This is not intentionally being a plug for Costco, but since it's a plug, I have to do a slug. I dread going to Costco. And apparently that's what it is. You're supposed to dread going to Costco so that you don't stick around there. That's how the people that built Costco, the Kirkland people, that's what they had in mind. They want you to move on. And then there's like two things I absolutely have to do when I go to Costco. One of them is get the rotisserie chicken. The other is the hot dog deal on the way out. And then I have to get chia seeds.
And here's today's podcast picture.
Because that's on the list for some reason, is chia seeds. But when I do go to Costco, and I'm one of those people that has a Costco credit card. Had to jump on that boat too. And I don't know if it's even paying itself, the whole being on the executive plan. Supposedly, you're spending... if you can pay for a Costco membership, that's one thing. But if you pay a little bit more... that every time you buy something at Costco, you get money back until you almost pay for the entire thing. I don't know if that's really how it works. How did we get on this topic of the Costco? I don't know. The late great Basil the Boxer. He actually waited in the car a couple of times when I went to Costco. And then I'd walk him around the parking lot because he was inside, and I'd let him bark. Oh, I miss him so much. So and I'd give him some of my hot dog that I'd get there. And for a while, I was addicted to Costco used to have that crazy ice cream, like in a waffle cone thing. I don't think they have it anymore, but that was good too. And it's amazing. I never was into Costco when I lived in Alabama. It wasn't until I got to the Bay Area. My then wife talked me into it. Actually, she never talked me into anything. She just did it. And I'd have to be along for the ride. You know what I was thinking about today? Not my ex-wife. Well, sort of, because she and I visited my mom 3 times when she lived in Florida. And I was thinking about the times I visited my mom in Florida. And the podcast picture, why don't we make it a picture from Florida since I'm thinking about it? See it at mikesdailypodcast.com. The particular place I'd go to in Florida was Daytona Beach, because that's where she lived. So it was the very first trip I went to see her.
Brewmaster.
That set the stage for how things would be every time I went to visit her over the 20 years that she lived. And unfortunately, she passed away in Florida. But the first time I went to see her, just after she had moved there, she picked me up from Orlando Airport. All right, that was good. Made it a little bit easier for me. Even though I was living at the time in Ventura, which if you want to get to Florida, you live in Ventura, you got to take either a plane out of Santa Barbara.
Now that's legit.
To get you down to LAX, or Oxnard used to have these planes that flew into LAX, and then you get to your, or you got to drive for like 3 hours in traffic on 405 and 101, getting down to LAX and Los Angeles. Such a pain. So then I get on the plane and then fly. I think I flew directly to Orlando. Something's telling me, though, I did a layover maybe in Las Vegas or Denver or something. And you finally get to Orlando, and then my mom picked me up. And that was cool. Because I'd never been to Florida before. And I'm like, oh, this is fascinating. Wow. And then she dropped me off.
You ready?
Back at the Orlando airport on my way leaving Florida. And she couldn't open her trunk to her car. For some reason, it just stopped working. And we're taking her umbrella. We're trying to, because everybody has an umbrella in Florida. It's just, they should just rename the state umbrella to Rida. But it turned out it was something got locked somehow in her dashboard. She had a Toyota MR2 and it did something funky where you couldn't open the, finally got it open, and we were already late, so I'm rushing to get in and get to my plane. I made it. But that was a harbinger of everything that was going to happen on every trip that I ever saw my mom on, where I flew to Florida. Getting out of Florida was always a pain. Planes got canceled constantly, bad weather. There was a time I'd have to take... So that was the only time my mom ever picked me up from the Orlando airport. The rest of the time I figured out I'll try and fly into Daytona Beach Airport. And she'd pick me up from there because it was close by, but because it was in the town she lived. But if I wanted to fly in and out of Orlando, I had to take a shuttle bus, and the driver always smoked like a chimney and stunk to high heaven. And that is my story about Florida. There we are. We're outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcastro Valley, the last place on earth.
Anyway.
But it was one of those things, and a lot of people this time of year are flying to see their relatives in other states, and I gotta hand it to you. Especially if you have kids, too. Triply so. You are amazing. Amazing, double, triple, quadruple so much. You are amazing, because that is a lot of work. And in this time of year, dealing with the bad weather and all that. I did it once. Flew to Florida to see my mom just before Christmas.
Mike Matthew? You not know Mike Matthew.
And I remember leaving Florida that particular time. We were so tired. That's one of the times I went to Florida with my then wife. One time we actually drove to Florida to see her, but we were living in Alabama at the time. And we took a whole week. We stopped in Savannah. That was a fun trip.
Really?
Eminem.
We got Eminem.
We got Eminem. The real Eminem.
There you go.
Because that's all I know. That's the plumbing I know, is using duct tape.
Good morning, Mr. Matthews.
But let's just say
I can't believe
you're using your credit card a lot buying stuff for the holiday season.
What the hell is this place anyway?
Apparently, credit card debt is making Kris Kringle oh so happy. It is mounting. The average credit card balance tops $6,000. Americans now own $1.08 trillion on their credit cards. The balances jumped 15% from a year ago. The average balance per consumer hit the highest in 10 years. Persistent inflation has more cardholders carrying debt from month to month or falling behind on payments. Credit card delinquency rates rose across the board too. So it's just that whole Dave Ramsey thing of getting rid of your credit cards and all that may not be a bad idea after all. But here's the thing. We live in a world where you need credit cards. You just got to be smart about it and pay it off. Don't let it roll over, because the average annual percentage rate is now more than 20%. That's an all-time high. At more than 20%, if you made minimum payments towards this average credit card balance, it would take you more than 17 years to pay off the debt and cost you more than $9,000 in interest.
Anarchy! I don't even know what that means, but I love it!
That's enough. Put down the mic.
A tip here, and I pulled this from Rob Black. He does a podcast and a radio show about money. Very helpful. I produce it. He's heard on the radio in the Bay Area on AM 1220 KDOW weekday mornings, and he's also on the television on Kron TV in the Bay Area. But he says, pay down your credit card debt.
Oh, wow, that's wild. Files.
And you can do that by signing up for a zero balance transfer card.
Try to game me, no? Ain't gonna work.
Whereas Rob talks about servicing debt, but that's primarily with owning a house and paying off the mortgage. He doesn't care if the bank comes along and takes his house. That kind of frightens me. You know what else frightens me is Disney. I don't like the color of the castles that they have at their parks. Something about it annoys me. And then I don't like 90% of the stuff they put out these days. But their earnings topped expectations. That's amazing. This was in the previous quarter, and we're about to wrap up this quarter, but this was last quarter. And they topped expectations thanks in part to profit at ESPN Plus. And apparently there is continued growth at the theme parks.
Note to self.
They plan an additional $2 billion.
The Pam Baumgartner Files.
To a target of $7.5 billion. They've had a $21 billion in revenue. The decrease in ad revenue is primarily from Disney's ABC network, which now it saw lower political advertising revenue last quarter, primarily because, well, it's not a major election year. That's next year. How exciting. Disney added 7 million new core Disney Plus subscribers from the previous quarter. Elemental, Little Mermaid, and Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, as well as the new Star Wars series, and I never can say it right, Ahsoka, as a key streaming content during the last 3 months. But as you know, the Marvel movie did not do so well. The Wish movie didn't do well. The company expects that its streaming businesses will reach profitability in the fiscal fourth quarter of next year. And also, the end of the 118-day actor strike removed a headwind facing TV and streaming companies and allows the industry to get back into making content. Oh, I hate that word, content. It so belittles anything creative, anything anybody does in the broadcast world. We just call it content. I'm not content with content. Stop it. Stop calling it that. But let's see. And one other, Marvel's was one of the worst MCU box office openings ever. And that's the latest. Okay. I know. Oh, Meta said that political advertisers on Facebook and Instagram will be required to disclose the use of AI or potentially face penalties. Google announced a similar rule in September. So you have the power now. If you suspect something is AI, you report it. Because they're on the hook. They're worried about it. I think we have the power to take down the bad side of AI. But it has to be done by you and I, and we have to, I think, I've used the word I a bit in the sentence, but we just need to pay attention, to recognize it, and to make a big stink about it. And I think together we can stop AI. The bad side of AI. The deep fake stuff. Ooh. How I despise the deep fake stuff.
It's Bison Bentleys. Do you know that?
Hey, this is Bison Bentley, and Mike Matthews has a couple of stories that'll make you want to ask yourself, do you know that? Do you know that? Do you know that?
But I don't know. If you think it is, then report it, please. I don't have those emails and where you exactly report it. But Meta, Facebook, Instagram, they're supposed to be... And TikTok should as well, unless they want to be completely scrutinized. I'm amazed they're not even scrutinized more than they have been. How are they still so huge in the U.S.? I don't understand what they offer. It's a kid's fad. We know what happens to kids' fads. They vaporize within a few years. Once the particular generation that has embraced it and is locked into it has decided, no, I got more important things to do. Like buy Christmas presents for my new kids. Outside of Café Anyway, somewhere in Podcaster Valley, look who's here. Hello, my gosh, it's Madame Rutabaga. All I said was very interesting. Ooh. Yes, I'm glad you thought so. Did you know that we also covered things like talking to you? We talked yesterday. Why are we talking today? Do you like talking to me? Yes. Do you like Chely Shoehart? Yes. Should we talk to her now? No. Too bad, we're going to talk to her. Hi, Chely.
Hello, my name is Chely Shoehart, gift shop supervisor. Hello, Madam Rutabaga. It's good talking to you.
Hello, Chely. I feel awkward now because I said I didn't want to talk to you. Ooh.
That's okay, Madam Rutabaga. You're awesome. You want to buy a snow globe?
Sure, that sounds like fun. I love snow globes. Ooh. Ooh. Okay, that's a... Enjoy your snow globe. It's that time of year. It's the most wonderful time of the year for snow globes. Look who else is here. Oh, Mike, this is Floyd the Floorman. And this is John Deere, the engineer. Oh, this is very fascinating. Well, what happened? The microphone's pointing. What? The microphone was pointing in the opposite direction of my face. That's like 90% of the podcasts that are in the top 10. The speakers don't even talk into the microphone. They talk away from it over here somewhere. I'll just talk over here. Hey, welcome to the show. Today we're going to talk about Bitcoin. I hate it, Bison Bentley. I so hate it. I hate it even more. No, I think I hate it even more. All right, you win. Next show, it'll be the wonderful No, she won't be on again. Not for till the one after that one. Preferably, possibly. We'll see. But we'll hear from Benita, the Disgruntled Fiddle Player, and the Brewmaster. If you would like to comment on anything we covered today, here is the phone number.
Call Mike at the Café Anyway hotline. Area code 510-228-4640.
I think I'm content with that. And with more ways to reach me, it's A-Frame.
Oh my God, man.
She just got it.
Jeez.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com.
Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com.
See you tomorrow. Bye!